Been 7 years since we've done a show.
7 years.
7 years.
Wait, has it really? No.
Yeah. It's been 7 years. What have you done in the interim? What have you done since our last show?
I found a book to read.
It's taken you 7 years to read it?
Nope. Let me read a little passage for you here.
Okay.
An elephant makes a big poop.
Oh, I love it already.
A mouse makes a tiny poop.
I know this book already. Everyone poops, right?
Can you see it? Oh, it looks like it's reversed in my camera.
No, I can see it though. It's an elephant.
A one-hump camel makes a one-hump poop, and a two-hump camel makes a two-hump poop.
See?
Only kidding, Todd. Only kidding.
Good, because I'm pretty sure they're the same. Everyone poops. There it is.
The book is Everyone Poops by Taro Gomi. And,
I think everyone should, when my kids were little, read the same book.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be required to spend a little time with Everyone Poops.
I think so. I think it's an important book for this day and age, to remind everyone to ground us, that we all share something in common.
You've heard the song, right? Everybody poops sometimes. When your day is long and the nights make it hard to use the bathroom. You've heard it, right?
I have heard that one. You're absolutely correct.
Everybody poops. REM.
Hey, welcome to the Short Attention Gamer 138 for July of 2018.
Just barely sliding in right at the end.
Just getting in there. Just right under the wire.
We did it.
Pardon me, I'm a little parched.
Oh, okay. Oh, fancy.
All right. Lots happened, Todd. A lot has happened in my life.
Okay, well, lay it on me.
I opened my pool finally this month.
All right.
Water was clear, but down at the bottom was a little green. Okay.
Well, pools are like that when you first open them.
And then I hooked up the pump and turned it on, and then a spark shot out of the pump.
What? A spark of electricity?
A spark of something. Something just flew right out.
No, that's not good.
And then there's a little fuzz and a fizz, and some smoke just wafted, and it did not turn on. So I spent the next week making sure that I could get a new pump, and then installing said pump. And by that time, the water was green, Todd.
Well, yeah, that's the way it happens. Before you got a new pump, did you hit on it with a wrench, like a crescent wrench, just beat on it for a little bit?
Just a couple times. I mean, it's a delicate piece of machinery, so you don't want to hit it too hard.
Well, yeah, but if you're sure, okay, I got to get a new pump or some parts, let me beat on it for a few minutes, and maybe that'll just knock it into submission.
I did not do that. I didn't hit it hard enough, maybe.
Did you unplug it for 30 seconds and let the power cycle?
I did do that.
Okay. Did the power cycle help?
I also plugged it into a plug that was non-GFI.
Okay.
So to make sure that in case there was a potential for any sort of short, it would be allowed to short through and potentially electrocute me. But so it's okay.
You did everything I would have done.
It didn't.
But now it's working, right?
It's working. I got a new pump. It's all hooked up. The water's finally clear. The kids went swimming in it this week, and it's almost the end of summer, so that's great.
You know, people always say, "Man, I'd love to have a pool," but I don't think they realize the amount of work. Because I had one when we long ago when we used to do the show back in the day, back in the shotgun, or was it the first,
the
split kick days? Back in the split kick days.
Okay, all right.
I lived in another house that had a pool. It was an above ground pool, but it had a deck built around it. So, it seemed like it was in ground. It was kind of a cool pool, but it was a lot of work, and it was hard to keep the water clear. We had our pump go out at 1.2, and it's that's not something I feel competent in changing myself. So it's the same kind of money pit that a boat is a money pit. And at this point,
you know what they say, right? The best two days of somebody's life is when they buy their boat and then when they sell it.
Same with the pool. You got it. That's it. Oh, and that is so true. And now that my kids are older, I'm glad I don't have it because they wouldn't get in it. They would rather go to the pool in the neighborhood rather than get in a pool in my backyard. Now, your kids at their age, perfect.
Oh, it's fantastic. My son just loves just jumping in a million times, getting out, jumping in, getting in. Like I'm not entirely sure why the repetition of the getting out and jumping in is so much fun, but it is. And they want to do it every day.
You always assume the next jump is going to be the best jump, and so you always want to give it one more shot. Yeah, it's like life. Think about that.
Always give it another jump.
Oh, never stop with one. If you think that you can make a better jump, then give it a shot.
Started PT yesterday, finally, on my knee.
Really?
Yep.
Like it's taken a while to start that.
Hey, you got that right, buddy.
I thought you started that like back in early June or something.
Nope. See, what happened was they gave me an MRI on my knee. My normal doctor says to me, "Hey, you probably need surgery." I said, "That sounds great." He's like, "I'm going to send you to an orthopedist." So I went to orthopedist. He's like, "No, surgery's not going to help you. What you need is physical therapy." And during this time frame, unfortunately, was a great time, and when my family decided, "Hey, let's switch insurance." So there was this time frame where I didn't have insurance cards, and we want to make sure that we had coverage for this thing. Finally got insurance cards, set up the appointment, and it's the end of July. So
just in time.
Just in time.
So does it? I mean, does it still hurt?
Sometimes it does. When I do certain movements, it's a little sore, but
like walking,
no
like that movement.
No, it's just like different twists.
Like
so
the twist, like when you do the
twist, the chubby checker.
Don't do that. Just don't dance. I know.
Little do people know when you're running, there's a lot of the twist involved.
Yes, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah,
I'm with you now.
So I started that. Apparently, I got to go 6 times. None of it's covered by insurance directly because we have one of those high deductible things. So I'm going to spend a lot of money just trying to get back to normal.
Well, I can tell you from physical therapy experience and having a physical therapist in the house that it makes a difference. I used to think, I'm not sure about this job she has. She says that it's helpful. She seems to be helping people.
You were questioning your wife's simple.
I know.
Choice of
Don't tell her. Everyone listening. But then I had back issues really bothering me about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, and I went to an in-home or a office physical therapist. My wife does home health, and so it made a huge difference. I don't have back pain anymore, and I know what exercises I need to do to keep that from happening.
Awesome.
So yeah, so it makes a difference.
Yeah, I did so I went yesterday. He showed me the exercises he wanted me to do. So I did them today. We have a gym at work. So I went down to the gym and I did them. And it felt like I wasn't doing anything, to be completely honest with you. But I followed his instructions. I went through the motions, and I'll do it again tomorrow. So
yeah, the repetition will make a difference. Now we sound like the geriatric podcast a little bit, but we kind of are. Is that what you're going to say? No. Okay, good.
We play video games too.
Exactly. Still, I mean, at my age, I'm still playing. So and still enjoying them. Even in this, what I would call a drought of summer games, I've still found some things to enjoy.
It's a little bit of a drought, but there's plenty of stuff out there. It's not like
I have trouble going backwards, and I think you know this. I've tried before, and I will explain what I mean when we get to the point where we're actually talking about games, but I found some things to play. Let's just put it that way.
Me too. I found some things to play. I've been playing games a little bit more than I think I should be. If you look behind me, there's a bed missing now.
Oh, yeah.
The bed is gone. We sold it. So my wife put it on Facebook and said, "Hey, does anybody want to buy a bed for $25?" And yes, apparently people want to buy a bed for $25. So they came and took it away. The person, the driver of the vehicle, was wearing a Space Jam T-shirt, which I thought was great. I was happy to see that. So
I also see you're prepping for Doomsday. You got enough toilet paper there. You're set.
Do you see that?
Yeah, you're ready for anything now. You guys could live in the basement for the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Let me lean back. You see, there it is.
Yeah. Preppers.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get the stuff out of this room, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape up all these little seams here, and then I'm going to apply I think they call it mud.
Yeah.
To the wall.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to paint it in here, and hopefully it'll look nice.
It's getting there. It'll get there. No? Okay. No. It's the thought that counts.
It's been this way for a few weeks.
Yeah, it will get there someday.
And if you notice, I have hair again.
Yeah. It looks good.
So it's a lot has changed in my life.
You're growing hair and mine's falling out. So people are making more comments about the thinning of the hair on top of my head. So is it time to just take the razor to it? I don't think I'm quite there yet, because it's not like I have just the little tuft right here. When I get to the point where there's just a little tuft of hair right here, like a reverse ponytail coming out of the top, like I'm a sad unicorn, then I'll probably go ahead and shave my head. But that's when you just take it and you just go whoop, pull it back. Yes.
Put a little grease.
It's worse when you have blonde hair like me too, because then your hair is so light and kind of thin that people can see your scalp easier than they could if I had dark hair. But hey, that's the way it goes. So what are you playing?
I'm playing a lot of Binding of Isaac.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
You're not a fan, huh?
Go ahead. I'd like to hear about it, but
it's an old game. People know about it. I picked up the I think I got it for PlayStation Plus for free at some point. I think it came on there, and then I bought the $10 upgrade version just to get all the extra stuff to make sure I had it all, because they didn't have any daily challenges in the version that comes with PlayStation Plus. So I needed to have a daily challenge. I like it quite a bit because I can typically make it rather far when I play the game. I don't just die on it, real quick. But at the same time, Spelunky is still the game that you can just. I kind of like the fact that you can die right away. It's with Binding of Isaac. It's more of a time investment than I think. I like. But it's something that I can play when my wife is still, finishing up something in the house before we watch a TV show or something. Yeah. And so that, as well as a game that is rather new. It's not even out of early access yet. I guess it's coming out soon on PC, called Slay the Spire.
Okay, I don't know that one.
It's another roguelike. It's got daily challenge type stuff to it, which I like that kind of thing. And
okay, let's talk roguelikes for a second.
Okay.
What is different from, what did you call it? Spire?
Slay the Spire.
Slay the Spire. What's different from Slay the Spire versus Binding of Isaac, which are both roguelikes, right?
Completely different ways to play, right?
Okay. So
if you look at a Binding of Isaac, right, it's you play until you die, and then you have to start all over again. That's the roguelite likeness about it. Like, it's not. I know people complain about Rogue. I've never actually played the original Rogue, so I can't even say specifically what the differences are. But this one is effectively a deck builder game.
Oh, okay.
Where you have a map and you pick a path through the map. There's some branching ways so you can go. All right, the next room is going to be a monster, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna fight that monster, and then you see, all right, there's a question mark room, so it could be anything, or there's a campfire, Campfire is where you can rest or upgrade your cards. And you could just keep picking paths up to the top of the spire, and at the top of the spire, there's a big boss that you got to fight. And I guess there's 3 levels, but I've never actually made it past the second level or stage or world or whatever you want to call it. But it's a lot of fun. You start off with very basic cards. You start off with like a set of attack cards and defense cards, and then after each round, if you defeat a guy, you get to pick one of 3 cards that is generated for you, or it's not generated. It's part of the game, right? Just 3 random cards come up and you get to pick one, and they add different abilities. So instead of just an attack, now maybe you'll have something called a bash, where it'll deal more damage as well as inflict a status on the enemy. Like I think bash is a vulnerability status, so they take more damage for future attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can basically just build it out. Depending on the cards you get, you can change the way your character plays. Even though I've only been playing with the one character so far. It's basically just a fighter type. But there's another one that I unlocked. I think he's a thief, like deals poison damage a lot and stuff. But I've just been going over and over again with this fighter type. It's just a lot of fun. There's plenty of different ways that you can set up your decks too. Like you can set it up for a really good defensive stuff, mm-hmm. where you get cards that'll actually deal damage whenever you gain block power. So like you'll be able to apply like 5 block to yourself, and then a random enemy takes 5 damage also at the same time. And there's cards that'll just give you block at the end of each round. So you don't even have to play a block card to deal that 5 damage to the enemies. So it's very neat in terms of the different ways you can build out your deck per round that you go through the game. And it's all dependent upon the ones that come up too. So you have to think about what's going to be best for the current deck that I'm building at this time.
So how long can you go? I mean, what's the average length of time you go before you die then? It sounds almost more like a game with an ending and then you start over again, like a card game or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the difficulty piece about this is that you maintain health between fights, right? So if you start off and you have 80 health, it's 80 or 88 is what the fighter starts with. At the end of each round, his special ability is to regenerate 6 health. Okay. So you want to try to make it so you don't really drop down by taking more than 6 damage per round, so you can at least get it all back. It doesn't really happen that way, obviously. So at some point, you'll get to these campfires, and the campfires allow you to regain a rather large portion of your health if you rest. But it's a risk-reward scenario with the campfires, because if you rest, you don't get to do the other action at a campfire, which is upgrade a card. And the upgrades are really good. Like there's a card that I've been having a lot of fun with called Armaments, where if it's not upgraded, you can just upgrade, like during one round of the game, you upgrade 1 card in your hand. When you upgrade that specific card, all of a sudden everything in your hand will get upgraded when you play that. So you'll get a boost to damage, like, for every single attack that you're able to do with the cards that are actively in your hand. So it's just a lot of like just situational picks that you have to do, and sometimes you just run into a brick wall. You'll face a monster. Like I keep having problems with this monster that looks like a Venus flytrap. For whatever reason, it rips me apart, and I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, in terms of length of the game, it's like it's probably like 20 minutes before I end up dying. It's similar in length to something like a Spelunky or a Binding of Isaac, depending on how much time you want to put in.
There's one that I've been looking at, and it's a PC game that is getting ready to come out for Switch. And I'm not a big fan of roguelikes. I'm not very good at them, but it looks interesting. Dead Cells. Did you ever play that?
Oh yeah, I played Dead Cells.
So tell me about. Is that a good game?
Dead Cells is really good. I haven't played it since I played it right when it came out in early access. So So I haven't played it since it's been upgraded, or since it's been it's been updated over and over again. So I may not be completely up on everything that's been going on with it, but it's a similar thing where you'll play until you die and then you restart. But with Dead Cells, there's different upgrades that you can buy that will carry over in your further playthroughs.
It comes out August 7th, and it looks tough. I mean, maybe it's something that would just frustrate me. I don't know, but I'm open to the idea. The other one that I have that I haven't.
Let me just sorry to jump in. It plays. It feels a lot like a Castlevania style.
Yes, and that's what looked interesting to me about it. Another one like that, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's
really good.
I have it for the Switch, and I haven't started it yet.
You've got to start that one. That's really good.
All right.
That one is also rather hard. It's got Dark Souls elements to it.
Okay.
Where if the save spots are kind of few and far between, and if you die, you'll drop your currency at your corpse, and then you have to go make a corpse run to go get the how much you need to get that money back.
So Shovel Knight does the same type of thing, right? I mean, you drop money or whatever you have. I'm pretty sure
I can't say that I remember Shovel Knight too much. I know a lot of people like Shovel Knight, but I haven't.
Yeah. I played that on Switch. I have it on Switch, and I'm pretty sure that when I died, that I would have to go back and try to get, because I remember getting frustrated that I would die a couple times and continue to lose gold because I couldn't get back to my original corpse. Yeah.
So. Rogue Legacy actually is coming out with an update either today or tomorrow. And that game hasn't been updated in like 4 years. Oh. So they patched it a little bit. They added some stuff to it. Have you played Rogue Legacy or
no?
That's another like that game's cool because it's got like this generational system to it, where every time you die and then restart, your character will a lot of times like build up a town right as you're progressing through the game.
Okay, I've heard of it. I know what you're talking about now.
And they'll die, and then the next character on will inherit some sort of trait usually.
I have played it. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what system I played it on though.
Maybe PC.
Oh, it was. I don't think it would have been PC. Maybe. I guess it would have had to have been. But did it come out for consoles at all?
I
Maybe
don't know.
That sounds familiar. Because when I'm trying to remember what it looks like. So when the character comes,
it's cartoony. It's a little cartoony. There's some guys that like you have to play the game completely upside down.
Yes, I have played that. But I don't think it would have been on a computer because I haven't had a computer to play a game on like that for years. So,
well, I've been playing on my brand new super duper computer, Slay the Spire, which is you could probably play it on a potato.
Well, and that's what I find funny about that. I haven't been interested in getting a computer and getting involved in upgrading, keeping it maintained, and that sort of thing. I mean, I use Macs at work now. I have all the console systems, and that's primarily what I play.
Yeah.
So I just, you and I have talked about this before, but my goal when I have time to play is to actually play a game, not spend time trying to get the game to work so I can play it. So that's why I like.
I haven't. So it's been a very long time since I've actually had to do that.
Yeah. And you're right. And honestly, it's become a bigger issue with consoles over the last probably 3 to 4 years than it was before, because there are times where I sit down to play a game and my Xbox or my PlayStation 4 hasn't updated the game yet. Even though I leave it on to do that, sometimes it just decides, nah, you know what? I'll update this when I get around to it. It's like my student getting ready, or my son getting ready to go off to college. You know, if I get time, I'll get around to updating this game, but I got things I got to do.
Yeah.
Like sit here in the dark and watch YouTube videos, which is what my son does. So, you know, it's frustrating, especially if a game is like, 9-10 gig. I mean, you know, I'm not going to sit down and play right away. It's going to take a little time. So yeah, and that's become a bigger issue over the last, at least with this generation of consoles. So
yeah, I've come into situations where, yeah, I'll sit down in front of my PS4 and be like, all right,
here we go.
Here we go.
I got time. Oh, I don't have any time.
There's a gig update I gotta download.
Yeah. And PS4 sometimes is worse than my Xbox in terms of getting the download going. So
yeah, it's a little slow.
I've been playing some stuff. Do you care? Do you want to know?
I do care. I'm very caring.
But are you finished with yours, or we'll come back around to yours?
That's pretty much what I've been playing. I downloaded Titanfall 2. It was on sale for like $4 or $5.
I like that game. I had fun with that game.
I really want to try that. I've been playing Division a little bit. We're taking a little hiatus. We have like
your group.
We have like one story mission to go to beat the actual story for Division. And then we're like, I think we're all like level 26 or 27. So there's like 3 levels left to max out our levels, and then it's a decision if we want to move on and try something else, or if we want to play like the little DLCs that they have for it. But Ubisoft is dumb. We've been watching for sales, right?
Yeah.
During E3, when they had Division on sale, they didn't bother putting the DLC on sale. They did it for PC. It was rather cheap to get the Division, and then like DLC is still $15 each. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think when I bought that game, I think I may have paid. That may have been one of the last games I paid for the DLC upfront, and I haven't done that since because I felt like I got burned, not because the DLC was bad, but because I didn't get back into the DLC the way I thought I would. So I've stopped doing that. And you know, if I have time and say, wow, I really love that game, and I did that with Assassin's Creed Origins. I did buy some DLC, but it was after the fact. So I just don't do it anymore. I don't buy it up front because I'm not sure I'm going to be playing it.
Season pass?
Yeah, who knows if I'm going to be playing the season pass come February if the game comes out in September. Right. So
like trying to keep me with one game is difficult. It's got to be a game that is a quick in and out right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that's necessarily going to be a Horizon. Unfortunately, like Horizon, I really liked, but it's sitting down to play it is an investment. It's an investment in my time, and a lot of times I don't have an hour to give to a game. I've got 15-20 minutes. So something like a Slay the Spire or a Binding of Isaac is perfect, right?
Well, so I've been here. I'll start with this, and this will just make JJ mad if he decides to watch this at some point. But Prey,
yes.
First of all,
yes.
Grandpa bought Prey, and then Grandpa for the Xbox, as you can see, and then Grandpa realized that he had a copy for PS4 that he had forgotten that he bought. So I sat down to play Prey and just got frustrated. I did not get very far in the second time around. Obviously, I've played it once before and didn't remember it because I own it. So that was embarrassing. So I have tried. I've messed around with it, but it just does.
No, it's not grabbing you.
No, and I don't know if it's just because it's frustrating or because I think if I really took the time and figured out the combat, I'd probably enjoy it. But I just am not getting into it.
It's hard. It's hard to figure out, like, and a lot of like the first person combat where the little goopy guys are like just diving at you. And they're always dealing damage to you. So it's like it's tough to really get into a position where you feel like you have control of the game. There's
a rhythm that you have to find, and I just did not invest the time to do it.
Yeah, at some point I was carrying around turrets and just putting them down and letting them do all the fighting for me because it seemed like the best thing to do. But there's certain enemies that would be like, "Oh, you got a turret there? You don't have a turret there anymore."
Yeah.
So you got to make sure it's it's positioned in the right way that it's going to get enough shots off that it's only going to make you hit that guy once or twice to take him down.
And I like the story. I think the story's interesting. I just can't get into the gameplay. So I don't know if I'll go back to it or not. I then turned around and bought this Somerset.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I
You're playing.
I owned Elder Scrolls Online. I've played every Elder Scrolls game before, and the problem with the first Elder Scrolls Online is it came out at a time when I was playing other things, and I just didn't jump in. So I've been playing this, and it's fun, but it's still got that clunk to it that an Elder Scrolls game has.
People love the clunk.
Yeah, should I play in first person? Should I play in third person? When I play, what drives me crazy is if I'm playing in third person, the frame rate drops. I have never seen a frame rate drop the way this does in some parts of the game. I don't know if they, like in certain dungeons, and I don't know if they didn't optimize the dungeon, but you would think it would be worse out in the open world than it would in a dungeon. But there's this one dungeon early on in Somerset that I would say it drops to about 10, 12. I mean, I am just chugging along.
Wow. And that's on your Xbox One X, which is the ultimate gaming system.
I know it says right here 4K HD. It says it 4K HD right there.
Maybe turn off the 4K HD and just
play regular D.
Regular Ds.
Yeah.
Only 1080s.
Only 1080s. Maybe the 480s. The reason I got it is because the reviews said that you could start with Somerset. You didn't have to back up. Play your way to Somerset, and they're right, you can. The problem is if you're doing that, there's not a ton that I can find to do in Somerset. I mean, I can follow the quest line and that's about it. So it's fine, it's okay. I'll probably continue to play it.
So why you played the original ESO?
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay, I have it. Mm-hmm.
So did you keep your character, or did you just restart with this one?
I restarted with this one so that I could start in Somerset.
Specifically in that area.
Yeah, I could have taken my character to Somerset, but it was easier just to start in Somerset because the way they get you ready for the game, the training part of the mission, they have a separate one for Somerset than they do for ESO. Gotcha. So it was easier just to start there, and it was fine. It's fine. It was funny because I found myself going back and forth between this and going back into Overwatch of all things. And so I was playing a little Overwatch. I was enjoying it. It's still such a great game, and so I was jumping back into games that I had delved in a little bit to see if anything would get its hooks in me. I did the same thing with Warframe and played a little Warframe.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm all over the place. And Warframe is fun. It's a good game. But all of those online games get, not necessarily Overwatch as much as Somerset and Warframe, you get to a point where you've got to grind to get beyond a certain, like I'm on Earth still in Warframe, and I have to grind to get to the next, I think Venus is the next planet. And there are this one particular kind of character you have to kill 3 times, and they randomly show up. And so I'm just trying to find them. And so the grind gets old with that particular game.
Randomly showing up.
Yeah, yeah, it's not fun. So a couple other games I've been playing.
My just to interject a little bit. My wife's friend, really good friend. She often will come over to our house and says, "All right, I got to go home and play my game," and her game is ESO. So she spends a lot of time. I think she plays on PC though.
The people that play it are really into it, and they invest a lot of time. And I can understand why, because it's a pretty robust world. There are lots of things to do, but you need to be able to get past Somerset and go to the other places, right. Or get past ESO and go to the other places. And if I took the time and said, okay, I'm not going to do anything else in terms of games, I'm going to play this, it would probably get its hooks in me. But I just haven't given it a chance really yet. And you got to get past the grind a little bit too. But you had to get past the grind in World of Warcraft. or
that's part of this. Well, that's part of those games, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to grind to get to another level, or you're going to have to grind to get enough materials to get whatever is part of a quest line so you can continue to move on. To me, though, the goal is to figure out, as a game designer, okay, how can I make the grind not seem like a grind? And there are parts of Somerset that just feel like a grind. There are times when I play
that. You do that by having continuous quests that will continuously advance your character, as opposed to ones that you just do and you get almost nothing at the end of them.
Yeah,
which is I feel like when I play MMOs, there's a lot of that, and or they give you gear that's way lower than what you probably should be getting out of it.
Yeah,
like just the rewards just don't match the fetch 10 quests or whatever.
Yeah. And I don't see myself ever getting back into an MMO to the point where I would pay a monthly fee. I still think they're intriguing. I still think they're fun. If I had the time, I probably would wander back into World of Warcraft at some point, but I doubt I do. I doubt I ever get that interested in an MMO to that point again. I'll delve around the edges of an MMO, something like Somerset, or a kind of multiplayer game like Warframe that helps where there is progression, but I don't think I would just invest my time and a monthly fee for a game like that. So
yeah, I think that time is past in terms of just general gaming altogether, right?
Yeah.
I mean, does the Final Fantasy MMO have a monthly fee?
Yeah, it's still $14.90. It's still one of the highest. I think it's $14.99. But
that means I'll never play it. There's just so many other things that I could play that I'm not willing to. Not really do that. No.
World of Warcraft has. I'm trying to remember. I read something a few weeks ago. I think they still have the monthly fee, but once you buy, you're able to play the other content without necessarily having to buy it. Although you still have to pay for the new expansion coming out in August, and that part was confusing to me. So
they're trying to change their model a little bit.
I think a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's not dramatic.
After 20 years of World of Warcraft,
finally making a change. Well, and then, at some point you're not going to have that subscription base because everybody's moving away from that model. So I think they're just trying to reiterate and see what's going to work.
Last time I tried out World of Warcraft. I was big into playing Diablo 3, and I was like, I was at one point, my mindset was, you know what, I could probably spend all of my time just playing Blizzard games, because they have one different game per like current itch, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But I'm looking at my list and I'm like, man, let's try to get into World of Warcraft. And I found that you could play the game, I think at that time, up to level 20 for
which
free.
Is still the case, yeah.
Yeah. So, but level 20 is like nothing now, right? It's like you're a noob starter character.
What blows my mind is how much they continue to invest in a game years after it's come out. Well, Overwatch. I mean, when I got back into the game and was playing last week, I guess, and the week before, of course there were new characters, but they just made little subtle changes in how you get into the game, the different ways, the way the interface looks, the way the characters move, and it was fun all over again. I still enjoyed it. I just saw they just did an update for Diablo the other day. So they're in season 3, I think, and so they continue to update that game as well, and it's been out for years. So, but
ever since they took away the actual money marketplace, the games have been really actually quite a bit of fun to play.
Yeah, and they're substantive changes. I mean, they're not just making some cosmetic change to the characters. I mean, they're substantive changes in gameplay and how you actually execute the game and how you play the game. So I'm impressed by that. The other things I've been playing, though, I jumped into this.
Hold on a second. Are you standing up?
Yeah. You want me to sit down?
No, I
Is this better?
I just realized that you're.
I'm towering over you.
Yeah.
No, I was standing because I sat all day at work
It's a
today.
standing desk.
Yeah, it's just a standing bar. I'm standing at the bar in our downstairs basement. So
I'm sorry. Go on. The
is it okay? As long as
Captain
it's
Toad Treasure Tracker, whatever.
yes. So I've been playing that. It's fun. It is one that I don't have to just jump into, and I can get in and out of it because each of the levels are small enough that they're, you know, those little puzzle levels that you can jump into and mess around in. I think there are 80, between 60 and 80 levels altogether, because there's some hidden levels in there too, like the Super Mario Odyssey levels that they added to this one. But it's a cool game. I mean, for a Switch game, it's a lot of fun.
Well, it's not a Switch game, Todd.
I'm sorry.
Actually,
as a Wii U transported to Switch game, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I've always looked at it and said, hey, that might be fun to pick up, but then I don't. So
well, I think I traded some things in and ended up getting it for like $10, and it's well worth that. I think it's $39 though, so it's still kind of pricey. I don't think I would have spent $39 if I didn't have things to trade in.
Yeah.
But the game I keep coming back to, and I cannot explain it. I'll show it to you. We'll talk about it.
All right.
Shake your head.
Well, hold on. Wait. I can't see it because you're not talking.
Oh, can you see it now? There.
What?
Why? Yeah.
Why?
That's what I said. Ease. I think it's
Ease?
pronounced Ease 8.
Why is
Lacrimosa of Dana.
Wow,
Lacrimosa of Dana.
I wouldn't expect you to be
exactly. You know why I like this game?
Why aren't you playing Octopath or something?
I'll tell you why. Because Octopath drove me insane. It is a different kind of combat. Ease, Lacrimosa of Dana, which is the first time I've ever actually said it out loud, is real-time combat. And that's what I like about it. And there's still some challenges in terms of, so you basically are playing 3 characters and you're switching between the 3 characters. And each character has a strength over certain types of monsters. One character deals better with flying monsters, one deals better with monsters with armor, and one deals better with the softer monsters, you know, the cuddly monsters. And so you have to be able to switch on the fly and figure out, you know, you can tell sometimes by looking, but sometimes you actually have to fight them before you figure out which character is going to do a better job of combating or dealing with that particular monster. And it's a bizarre story. I mean, I fast forward sometimes through the story, which is great because the right button on touch, hold it down and it just starts moving through the story. I'm like, perfect. That's what I need. So you're on a ship and the ship wrecks. It's a big like ocean liner ship and it wrecks on this island and you're slowly trying to find all of the passengers who have somehow been scattered around this island, you know, as they do. And so you're opening up the island as you travel from place to place. You're adding armor to your characters. You're increasing their weapon damage. You have special abilities that they can do, and you have to hold down the right, not the trigger. You have to hold down the right shoulder button, and then like the A, the B, or the X button or the Y button, which is not an easy feat. Is in the heat of combat.
And when you have arthritis like you do.
Exactly. Sometimes my thumbs don't work the way they used to. And they're opposable, sure, but that doesn't mean, you know, that I can always play a game the way I did when I was in my 20s. Grandpa's almost 50 here, so I need a proxy, somebody to play games with me. And I can tell what to do.
Click the button now.
Yeah. Click, stop clicking. So I don't know why I keep coming back to this game. The story is stupid. But
well, that's usually why I come back, is when the story is dumb, not when it's good.
It's such a bizarre story, but I like the combat and I feel like I'm progressing in the game, you know, and it's challenging. It's not the most challenging game I've ever played, but I have trouble in certain places. So I don't know how much longer I'll play, because if I can get to September, then I'm playing Spider-Man or Lara Croft, because those both come out in early September. So
you see the Spider-Man PS3 that they're coming out with? or PS4. Sorry.
Yes.
It looks pretty nice.
I wonder. I haven't seen. Is it a Pro or is it just a regular PS4?
Oh,
because they did that with they did that with another PS4, and it wasn't a Pro. It was just a regular PS4, and I was like, oh, okay.
I got the God of War Pro.
God of War. Yeah, no, that was a Pro.
I got a Pro one of that.
There was another one though that they came out with that wasn't a Pro, and I just wasn't impressed. But so anyway, this and then yesterday, because I knew we'd be doing the show today, I went ahead and downloaded the update to No Man's Sky, and messed around with that.
How's that treating you?
I liked it okay the first time. I like the third person view. I think it works really well. There's still those frustrating parts of trying to figure out what I need in order, because I decided with that game too, I was going to start over, just start with a fresh character, because I did not remember how to play the game.
Yeah.
And I saved my other one. I could always go back to it, but I started with the fresh character. First planet I landed on, I died. So I started over because I couldn't figure out what to do, and I died.
Was it a toxic environment?
It was a toxic environment, and I got pissed at the little thing floating around my head, and I shot it. That seems less random, because I've heard
just cruising around Twitter, seeing what people are saying is like a lot of people are starting off in environments that are actually hazardous.
Yeah, oh yeah. Both times, twice I started off in a hazardous environment. So I have gotten to the point.
Welcome home, everybody, to No Man's Sky.
I've gotten to the point where I'm working on my ship now, so I can get off that stupid planet. But I haven't finished that part, so that's where I am. So I may keep messing around with it through August. I mean, I don't see me, unless it gets its hooks in me, I don't see me going on and on. But
I was reading somebody say that they actually went back to their old character, and their inventory was full of items that basically didn't do anything anymore.
Yes, I read that too.
Like they just changed it that much that you can't go home. You literally have to start over again or whatever.
There's certain elements that you need for flight that you didn't need before. So as you build your ship up, you have to build sheet metal. Well, I don't remember having to do that before, but there are elements that you have to combine with sheet metal and with something else in order to fly. But you have to build the sheet metal first. So that's kind of where I am right now, is trying to figure out what elements I need. The one thing that I think is so smart that they did was before, whenever you had to go in and fix your, upgrade your health or fix your health or fix your multi-tool, you had to go into the menu to do it. And the thing that stunk about that is when you went into the menu, everything was still happening around you. You could still hear a creature attacking you, or you could still hear a sentinel coming at you, which sucks. So what you can do now is you can press down on the D-pad, and it will give you the elements that you have that you need to keep up, like your health or your whatever you need to keep the multi-tool going, the energy for the multi-tool, and you can do it right there from the screen, the front screen, without having to go into the menus. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah, they should have done that from the beginning, but I get that.
Some would argue they should have done a lot of stuff from the beginning. So.
Yeah, I think we're finally at the game. When we get the Xbox version, we're finally there. But this isn't an A game; it's still a B game. I would have given it probably a C the first time around. It's probably up to a C plus B minus now. It looks great. It always looked great, but you want to be able to do things in the world that looks great. So we'll see.
I'm kind of, for the most part, I'm kind of over the whole survival, like go out, gather resources, build the thing.
The don't starves of the world.
Yeah. Or even the Minecrafts, right? It's
Flame the Flood.
Unless you use the create mode or whatever it is in Minecraft that just gives you all the elements that you need. All these games are the same loop. You go out and you get the starting items, and then you increase the viability of everything around you, and then you get more, and then get better items, and then do some more, and it's just the same constant loop.
Mm-hmm.
And and there's so many games. Like if you go to Steam, it's like first person survival crafting games are like everywhere, and they're just dull.
Yeah. I mean,
there's only so much of that. Like, there's only so much that I could do. Like Minecraft, when it came out, it was great, right?
mm-hmm.
I played a ton of that. We even had like I had a server on my Xbox 360 that I just kept running all the time that people connect to, and on PC, like I'd connect to somebody. I can't recall who it was off the top of my head. And it's probably somebody who listens to the show, which is, I'm sorry. But we connect to their server and we'd build a world, and then eventually everyone just lost interest because, yeah.
So Terraria, all of those types of games and I could never comprehend why. That was at a point where my son was really into Minecraft because his friends were as well. I couldn't comprehend it. I just didn't get it. And I don't know if it's because we grew up, or I grew up, maybe not you. I grew up with games that kind of looked like that, that kind of basic pixel looking, but we weren't able to craft or to do the amount of things that they could do in that game.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, one of the things that I haven't done this month.
Taking a shower?
I have not. I've taken one shower. So yes, I have to be honest. But I have not bought the season pass for Fortnite.
You haven't?
I have not. No.
I haven't spent a penny on Fortnite, which is fine. But my daughter got second.
Second what? In
second
Fortnite?
place. Second place in Fortnite.
Awesome. How'd she do it?
By hiding in a tree. I think I might have told you this last time, but I can't
smart.
recall.
That's the way I got my first. When I got first once, I hid until the end. I told you that.
Yeah.
Hid till the end. That's how you do it.
So you're a little cooled off on Fortnite?
I like it, but I'm not very good at it, and so it gets old getting killed all the time. And so I just found other games, other multiplayer games that I enjoyed more, like Overwatch, or I've been playing. This is embarrassing, and
you've been playing a lot of games, but it's been like probably almost a month and a half.
7 years is what I said when we started this show. It's been 7 years. I've also played Arena of Valor, the Chinese MOBA on iOS. It's huge. It is I mean, in terms of the number of people playing that game, it's insane. And I've been playing that a little bit just to delve into a MOBA without feeling like I have to deal with the toxic part of it.
Did you know? Fortnite's got a mobile version out, right?
Yes. You can play it on phones. You can play it on Switch. You can
I'm fairly certain that I saw a news article fly by that was the mobile version of Fortnite is getting $2 million a day.
I heard something similar to that too. Yeah.
Which so many things like that game, man.
If you have a pass though, if you have a season pass, the season pass crosses over, other than PS4, will cross over between Switch, mobile, and Xbox. So I can play on my phone, and if I unlock one of the levels, and get the cosmetics, that will show up on my Xbox version as well. So that's, I mean,
and you can cross-play with all that stuff too, can't you?
You could, but you have to manually set it. It's not automatically doing it. So you can cross-play between a phone and Xbox, but you have to allow it to do that, or between Xbox and PC.
Oh, is it like a setting on, like in settings, you say, okay, I want to play against Xbox?
And you can see, I mean, it actually shows if somebody is on an Xbox versus on a PC. So
how does it show that in the game?
I saw it the other day when I was watching on Twitch. Ninja was at the ESPYs, and he was playing.
Of course he was. Why wouldn't he be?
Because that's what you do. And he was playing, and I don't even know which athlete it was, but the athlete was playing on an Xbox because he was used to using a controller, and so it showed in the corner Xbox. Now maybe that was just for the show they were doing, but it was obvious. I thought, why would they do that other than if Epic did it, you know?
Unless it's just a marketing gimmick to show once again, hey, you can do this on Xbox
on the ESPYs.
Yeah.
So, or on Twitch right before the ESPYs. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting game. I'm glad it exists. I'll still play it once in a while, but I'm not hooked the way I was.
Me and my daughters have been playing a board game, tabletop game called Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, which is a deck builder. You know,
all right, that sounds fun.
It's basically you go in and you have these situations where there's the villains are trying to overtake these different locations through the Harry Potter universe. Like the train, for example, they'll try to overtake the train, and then once they do that, then they go and try to overtake another part of the universe. And once they take over all the locations, you lose, basically. And if you defeat all the villains, you win. So I could
never convince my daughter to play any board game with me, and I think that's awesome. She just got bored. I mean, she got bored of the board games, and so I could never get her to spend time like that. Now, Cameron, I could, and we played lots of games, but not my daughter. That would have been cool.
The cool thing about the Harry Potter game is that it's got basically. You start off, and it's perfect for if you're trying to get kids into board games because it starts off very basic. You have a very contained set of rules and very limited different types of cards that you can purchase in the game. So it's not a lot of thinking involved, not a lot of strategy. And what they do is every time you play or every time you beat one of the games, you'll open another box. And in the next box is so game one is one set of rules. Game two is similar set of rules, but it maybe introduces another element. And then game three, it actually will morph the main characters that you play as. So all of a sudden, Harry Potter isn't just Harry Potter. He's Harry Potter with an ability. And then even game four, it introduces dice. So all of a sudden there are dice for some reason that you have to roll when certain situations happen. So gradually it adds more and more to all the stuff you got to keep track of to play the game. And I mean, so far it's been great because we've gotten up to, we're at game 5 right now. We haven't lost, which I kind of wish we would have lost at least once. Mm-hmm. But it's to a point where all of us are actually pretty good in terms of picking which cards we're going to go with. And you've basically got an area of 6 cards per turn that you'll be able to purchase something of if you've got the money to do it. And you got all the different allies like Dumbledore. You can buy Dumbledore and he does a certain thing, or you can buy Snape and he'll do a thing. And of course, the kids were like, well, Snape at this point in the movies and the books, he's still a villain, sort of. So why is he an ally? You get into those conversations. But,
yeah.
But they've even got a little expansion for it that you get to play as Luna as well as the main.
Oh, cool.
The main characters. So you can play as Harry, Hermione, Ron, and they picked Neville for the 4th character. It's a 4-player.
What's the length of time that a game takes?
Probably 45 minutes, maybe.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
So they keep it's able to keep their interest the entire time then.
Yeah. Cool. Not my son doesn't play it. He's not into it, but both of my girls, they're
older too though, so
yeah. A little bit older.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like I said, playing board games with Cameron was always fun. But you have a group there that you're able to play board games with, and I don't have anything like that here. So I think that helps sometimes too, is because then you hear about or you see other games that are interesting, or you get to test or try a game that you wonder, hey, would that be fun? So I don't.
Well, I kind of keep my eyes open on stuff too. If I see something interesting, like I picked up this game called King Domino. So it's Kingdomino. It's Kingdom Dominoes basically, where you get a set of dominoes and you're building out your own little kingdom and you score based. It's a really, really simple, straightforward game. It's quick. It takes about 15 minutes to play or whatever. But it's something that's really, really fun to just bang out. If we got nothing else to do, hey, let's play a quick game of this. And it's game like that is inexpensive too. It's only like $20.
So you do that instead of watching America's Got Talent?
I don't have TV. I don't have normal
you
TV.
Don't have talent? Oh well, so you don't.
I don't have. You're right. I don't have talent either.
You don't think America has talent, so you play these. Actually, that is actually a better family-oriented event than watching America's Got Talent.
Do you guys watch? I'm assuming no. Oh.
My kids are of an age now where they're rarely here, and if I want to spend time with them, I have to take them to dinner and buy food.
Your daughter apparently is stuck in a perpetual perpetual spin.
Yeah, so I put that on Twitter, and she ended up winning. It's called the Top Gun Turns, and she ended up winning the Top Gun Turn at that competition. So
what does that consist of?
You are a better turner than everyone else that's there, and so she could turn faster and better and not fall out of her turn. You know, because some people, if they turn that much, they just kind of fall over. I
would just after twice.
Too. Yeah. So was the Top Gun turner. She was her freshman year too, and this is going into her junior year. So last year she didn't get it. So she
came back with a vengeance.
Yeah,
then.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the best turn I've ever seen. She's backing at it.
After I commented on that, your wife started following me on Twitter. So now I have to be careful.
I'll have to tell her who she's following. She knows who you are, but she doesn't know you from your name on Twitter. So I'll have to say, oh, you started following Jim. If I say you're following Jim, she's like, oh, I know him. So she'll figure it out then. So that's all I know, man. That's all the games I got right now.
That's a lot of games. And last time we did the show, I had said to you, hey, why don't we just do an every other week schedule? We'll put it on the calendar.
And by every other week, you mean every other month.
Every other month. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to do this again in 2 weeks as opposed to. Sure. Actually, you know what? What's 2 weeks from now? 2 weeks from now is...
I'm looking at my phone here.
8th, August 7th?
Yeah. No, the 8th.
Okay, well, maybe we'll swing one in there. Yeah, let's do that.
Somewhere in there. Okay.
We'll try to do that, and I'll try to play something other than these games that nobody cares about.
I thought that was interesting. I thought those games were. I like the fact that you play PC games that I probably wouldn't play, and I like hearing about them. So
I think I've told you this before. I've told a lot of people this. I feel like big outlets are really missing out on a lot of really good, interesting content because they focus on Polygon the other day had, you know how they got their big panels on their screen that say, all right, these are the main articles for right now. Mm-hmm. They have like 8, like one spans like multiple panels and, you know, like newspaper format or whatever. 3 of the 8 were dedicated to Fortnite. So like, come on, guys. There's so many other games. And one of them was about a TV show. Like, come on. There's plenty of places that people can go to get information on television. And I understand it's probably hard as hell. That grind is probably real hard right now with the amount of people trying to do it. And I mean, Polygon has a chance to actually, you know, or I don't know if they do anymore, but they used, like, when they came out, when they first hit the scene and they had all these amazing people that were working for them. I mean, they could have really like been the outlet to go to. Mm-hmm. And now I just get annoyed when I go to their website.
Yeah. I went the other day. I know what you're saying.
And I don't think they've I don't know if they removed review scores, but I think they might have done that to try to change things up a little bit. But they've had the same video about God of War sitting on their front page for 2 or 3 weeks now.
I find I go to Kotaku, and sometimes I go to IGN just because it's there. And because they update their content, they refresh their content probably more than just about anyone else. Yeah. Although sometimes they're just recycling crap that they had up days before. And I go to Touch Arcade for iOS information, and now for Switch information. So,
they put stuff on there for Switch.
They do, and they do a pretty good job with it.
When I was trying to be interested in mobile games more, I felt that their content was really good. Mm-hmm. Who was that? what's the one guy's name that's always
Eli.
Eli. Yeah,
he's good. And he's still there. And he's a good writer. But, Kotaku still does some great long form stories. There was the one they did, I can't remember which writer it was, but it was the story about Sailor Moon. I don't know if you read that. It went live, I think, on Friday, and she had been working on it for a while, and she had been looking for the original Sailor Moon pilot. And what she found was
the pilot episode.
Yes, okay. It was a live action. But what she found, yes, and it was this fabled thing that was supposed to be out there, but nobody had ever really seen it. And she stumbled across some other things that were just as crazy. And it's a long story. I don't care one bit about Sailor Moon, but it's well written. It's excellent, and it's worth reading. It's just that's the kind of thing I want to.
I think long form journalism in games is something that is really awesome. There's a series, The Final Hours is the name of the series, and I think it's Jeff Keighley who does it.
Yes,
and those are just some of the most fascinating pieces of video game journalism that I've ever read. They're wonderful. So I think
they're a lot of work. I know it takes.
Oh yeah,
together, but
yeah. So I don't know how much that really, unfortunately, pays off, right?
Oh, probably not much. I mean, I'm sure that she invested a lot of time and money into her story, and I've heard other journalists talking about it and how great it is. But it's one of those long stories that the average reader is probably going to be like, "Oh, that's too much for me."
Yeah.
But it's worth the investment of time to read the whole story just because it's well written.
Close it off a little bit and going a little bit further away. My buddy linked to me this story that's unrelated to games, but it was a really long read, but it was about this woman who basically perpetrated a fraud in New York City. She'd showed up at this hotel, and basically, I know everyone. For some reason, everyone knows me, and my expensive hotel. We're going to pay you the check is coming. It's in the mail. We're going to have you wired. And everybody just believed her in New York. I think she ended up in jail at the end of it, but she tried to get this art studio opened as one of her projects. She knew all these different kinds of people. And it wasn't until a good, halfway through, it's and there was a line that was and that's when I realized that she wasn't for real.
Oh, it was at that point.
But it was this really well written, in depth piece of how this one woman was able to basically fool everybody into just giving her the world for a large portion of her 20s. So, it's that stuff's really interesting.
Yeah,
and I'd like to see more of it, and especially as it relates to games. So. That's all for me too.
All right. Well, maybe in a few weeks we'll be doing it again.
I think so. My brother-in-law mentioned he popped on for a second and he said, "Hey, thanks for wearing the shirt." So I got this thing here. This is a memorial shirt.
That's cool.
I don't know if you remember of 2 months ago or so there was a fire with Ed. It was on a movie set with Ed Norton.
No, I don't know.
In New York City, basically, my brother-in-law's firehouse responded to that fire, and unfortunately, part of the building collapsed, and it trapped one of the firefighters from his house.
Oh man!
In the building, and unfortunately, he passed away. So they were selling these shirts for a fundraiser for his family because I've been to a fair amount of parties at my brother-in-law's house for his my niece and my nephew, and I'm pretty sure he has his firefighter cohorts also at those parties. So I'm pretty sure I met this firefighter at one point. But yeah, so not to leave anything on a down note, but I
appreciate. I was wondering about that, so I appreciate you telling me this.
I am not FDNY.
I knew but I wondered. I figured there was a reason and a story behind it. So I'm glad you told me. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. All right, Phil. Thanks for talking. I'll see you in probably a couple weeks.
Okay, I'll be standing right here.
hopefully my pool is still going and
Yeah.
my knee is working properly and I can start running again. It's only been 3 months.
Oh, gosh. I hope you are too. I hope in 2 weeks, I hope you're running.
Well, we'll see. I got some PT to do. So,
well,
all right, man.
All right. You have a good rest of July.
And maybe August too. Who knows what's going to happen?
No, I'm going to talk to you in August.
All right.
I'll see you then.
I'll see you.
Bye.